I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? What's good? Hope you guys are doing well, doing blessed. We've got another UFC card to break down. Let's go. Hey, shout out to the guy who left a comment on my last video and he said, I enjoy your predictions, I enjoy your content, but if you can stop fake marijuana smoking, that's kind of funny. Alright, let's get straight into the Money City comments. We've got some Money City on this one. The first Money City comment comes from Big Plays MMA. This week, Max and Volk goes the distance. That's money. Michael said Volkanovski, O'Malley, Barberena, Jim Miller, Duplessis. And I'm edging towards Jalen Turner. That's money. Hey, look at this one, guys. We got back-to-back comments on Money City. Is that our level now? Is that the community level now? We're going back-to-back. Okay. Anthony Early says Dracus, Sugar, Volk, Izzy, 4-piece nuggets. Okay, Broke Bets has Ian Gary, O'Malley, Adesanya. It's money. It's back-to-back money, okay. And again, we've got back-to-back money. The community's really leveling up. Alex Pereira and Barber, plus 180 from Brick Wall. That's money. Nordic Hellers, who's usually the women's mixed martial arts expert, doesn't want to touch the women's MMA this time. He went last stylebender, the Tarantula. That's money. And look at this. Beaver said, I'm getting burnt, but this one's gonna hit. It did. It did. It's money. And then we're going back to back again. Look at this. Sugar Show, Barberena, Big Money City. Okay. And then we've got Scorpio, who got Adesanya, KO or decision, Holloway to go the distance, Pereira, Gary, Muniz, Miller. It's money. And the last Money City comment's gonna be Abdul Amir, Jalen Turner plus Duplessis. Easy money. That's money. Okay. Alright, let's get into breaking down this card. Let's go. Alright guys, first matchup on this card, we've got Ronnie Lawrence taking on Saidyokub, Kakhramonov. This is a good matchup. Really difficult prediction to make. You look at Ronnie Lawrence, man. This guy has a good gas tank, right? The cardio's good. The footwork's good. He's always on his bike. And what I mean by he's always on his bike, he's always moving. Right, the feet are always moving, using good footwork around the octagon. And it's kind of difficult to keep up with a guy like Ronnie Lawrence, especially if you're not used to that type of footwork, that constant movement. I did take Ronnie Lawrence against Mana Martinez, and you know, Ronnie dropped him in round 1. It was a good fight. He looked good in that fight, but towards the end of the matchup, Mana Martinez dropped him. So yeah, it kind of got a little bit sweaty, but yeah, Ronnie Lawrence, man, good cardio, good movement, good wrestling. I like what I see from this guy. Now on the flip side, Saidyokub, Kakhramonov. This guy had a really difficult debut against Trevin Jones. I think Trevin Jones is a guy we all respect. And yeah, Saidyokub nearly got the round 1 stoppage. So yeah, trying to make a prediction on this one, man. You've got 2 prospects. I'm going to side with the cardio and the movement of Ronnie Lawrence. If I was going to make a prediction based on jiu-jitsu and who maybe has the better boxing, then maybe I'd take Saidyokub. But I kind of like the footwork of Ronnie Lawrence. I like the constant movement, the cardio, the wrestling. That's what I'm going to side with in this matchup. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Kennedy and Nzechukwu taking on Karl Roberson. This one really comes down to, you know, who do you like more in this matchup? I don't really like either of these guys. You know, let's recap Kennedy's career. Or let's go all the way back to the Contender series, right? Now on the Contender, he gets the stoppage, he gets the contract. I went against him in his UFC debut against Paul Craig, simply because Paul Craig just does Paul Craig things. And even Kennedy's corner was screaming at him like, disengage from the grappling, but he didn't, and Paul Craig gets that choke. Now against Darko Stosic, he got the win in this matchup, but kinda respected the opponent a little bit more than he should have. Against Carlos Ulberg, he gets the win, but man, round 1, you know what I'm saying, round 1, nearly gets dusted. Against Danilo Marquez, he gets the win in this matchup, but for 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying, backpacked. Now I do want to speak about Kennedy against Nick Negumereanu because it says he lost this fight, but man, he did not lose this fight. You look at what Kennedy done in that last round against Nick Negumereanu. If Kennedy fought like that every round, he would be a completely different fighter, but he doesn't fight like that. Now on the flip side, you've got Karl Roberson, who is a pretty good kickboxer, but if you look at his most recent fights, this guy keeps getting dusted. You know, Marvin Vettori took him to the mat. Against Khalil Roundtree, oh my goodness, dusted. You know, this matchup, Kennedy could be losing the whole time and find a way to win. Karl Roberson could be losing the whole time, find a way to win. It's one of those matchups. I kinda hope that Karl Roberson looks to use the calf kick, especially if Kennedy's gonna wait around, you know, try to see what Karl Roberson's doing. Hopefully Karl can look to dictate the fight straight away. Like I said guys, this is probably a matchup you don't want to lay too much money on, but I'm gonna take Karl Roberson and I don't feel good about that prediction. You know what I'm saying? This is a pick'em. Alright, moving into a matchup between Cody Brundage taking on Tresean Gore. Now we know Tresean Gore likes to talk, right? He likes to talk, but the UFC debut was not backed up. You know what I'm saying? Bryan Battle used a lot of output in that UFC debut. I know Tresean Gore had a couple good moments, you know, landed a beautiful hook at one point that hurt Bryan Battle, but the output is not good enough. Now having said that, Bryan Battle did do a good job at keeping a high output. You know, teeps, calf kicks, jabs. It was more to show Tresean, look, I'm just going to outclass you. And I think at the end of the round, even Bryan Battle said, look, you only hit me one time. And it didn't even hurt. I don't know why he added that, but yeah, that's funny. Now looking at Cody Brundage, the opponent, he had an okay UFC debut, but he lost to Nick Maximov. You know, a lot of wrestling in that UFC debut. Against Dalcha Langwambula, man, he was getting beat up in this fight. He was getting dusted in this fight, but man, world class to get that guillotine. You got to give him credit. Now guys, if this matchup plays out on the feet, if it plays out in the striking, I don't think Cody Brundage is going to do a similar job to what Bryan Battle done. I can't really see Cody Brundage getting away with just, you know, just touching the opponent. I think Tresean Gore would win the striking in this fight. The way Cody Brundage has to win is simply use the wrestling, use the jiu-jitsu, take Tresean Gore to the mat. If he can do that, you know, he could win the fight. But I'm going to predict that we get more striking in this fight, and that's why I'm going to pick Tresean Gore. You know, it's going to come down to who can implement their game plan. I think it's going to be Tresean Gore. That's going to be my pick. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Antonina Shevchenko taking on Cortney Casey. Who do we pick in this matchup? So let's speak about the whole career of Antonina Shevchenko from the Contender Series. Now in the Contender performance, she basically showed us, look, I can do Muay Thai, right? You know my sister Valentina, I can do this too. And that's what she done on the Contender. Then in her UFC debut, you know, this was an okay performance. Against Roxanne Modafferi, this was the first loss in mixed martial arts. Roxanne Modafferi doing what Roxanne Modafferi does. Take the opponent to the mat, let's wrestle, let's do jiu-jitsu, let's grapple, let's wrestle kid. And that's what she done to Antonina Shevchenko. Then Antonina bounces back with a nice win against Lucy Pudilova, although Lucy Pudilova isn't that good. Against Caitlin Chukagian, you know, she was outclassed in this matchup. And I think Caitlin recently fought Valentina and got crucifixed. Then Caitlin, I believe, crucifixed Antonina to say, look, you're going to crucifix me, I'll crucifix your sister. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of cold. But yeah, Antonina Shevchenko bounces back with another win from a loss. And it was nice groundwork against Ariana Lipski. You know, the grappling on the mat, the ground and pound, really nice. Then Andrea Lee holds her in an armbar, a triangle for the whole round, and then finishes it with the armbar. Then most recently against Casey O'Neill, you can see a big cardio difference in this fight. You know, after round one, Antonina was gassed, and that's when Casey O'Neill, you know, she's relentless, got really good cardio, took her to the mat and just smashed her. Now Cortney Casey, this girl is an OG in mixed martial arts. She knows how to kick, she knows how to punch, she knows how to grapple. And a nice weapon that Cortney Casey likes to use on the feet is going to be the calf kick, which might not be as easy to land against a Muay Thai fighter in Antonina Shevchenko. So really, if Cortney Casey wants to win this fight, she probably has to do what others have done, which is grapple the opponent, grapple Antonina. I'm going to say no on this one. I'm going to side with the lesser Shevchenko. I'm going to side with Antonina to use the Muay Thai on the feet. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Aiemann Zahabi taking on Ricky Turcios. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm down with the personality of Ricky Turcios. I like the Ultimate Fighter for that reason. You know, you get to see the personalities of these fighters. And Ricky Turcios, you know, he's saying stuff like, I'm going to see you in the cage. I'm going to bring my weapons. You're going to bring yours. And we're going to do battle. And I'm like, yeah, that's an accurate description of what happens. That's kind of true. So yeah, Ricky Turcios, man, good kicker, good jiu-jitsu, good cardio, scrappy. I like Ricky Turcios. On the flip side, you've got Aiemann Zahabi, who maybe shouldn't even be in the UFC. Let's be honest. I will say though, against Draco Rodriguez, if he's going to keep landing overhand rights like that, then maybe he should be in the UFC. But we're going to see what he does in this one against Ricky. I don't think that overhand's going to land. You know, Draco Rodriguez was looking pretty good in that fight, but it's the shots you don't see that hurt the most, and he didn't see that shot. It was a nice overhand right. I think even if you're going to make a case that Aiemann Zahabi is maybe more technical, maybe a cleaner fighter, even if you make that case, I think by round 2, it's going to be a Ricky Turcios fight. And what I mean by that is, I think Zahabi probably slows down and Ricky can grapple, can look to land the kicks. My prediction in this matchup has got to be Ricky Turcios. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's go. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Cynthia Calvillo taking on Nina Nunes. Now Cynthia Calvillo, I remember when this girl went to Scotland, beat Jojo Calderwood, and she's getting on the mic like, I'm the shark, the mat is my ocean. You know, Cynthia Calvillo, man, she kinda was doing some nice work early in her UFC career, but she really has dropped off. I went against Cynthia Calvillo in her last 2 or 3 matchups. When Cynthia Calvillo can get the fight to the ocean, get the fight to the mat, when she's able to use the jiu-jitsu, she's pretty good. Now looking at the opponent, Nina Nunes, right, this girl went away, played the mum role, right, had the kid. When she came back against Mackenzie Dern, that is the easiest plus money I've ever cashed. Like, how was Mackenzie Dern even an underdog? She just took Nina Nunes to the mat and said, you know, good game. Good game, thank you. I really hope that Cynthia Calvillo just looks at that performance and is like, yeah, I'm going to take Nina to the mat. I'm going to break my losing streak. I'm going to get a win. I'm going to use the jiu-jitsu in this fight. And that's what I'm going to side with here. I'm going to take Cynthia Calvillo to get this fight to the mat. Use the jiu-jitsu. Take the win. Alright my homies, you know what time it is, and if you don't know, now you know. Let's go. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Hey, this is apparently the time we do the fake marijuana smoking. Does it sound like I fake marijuana smoke? Listen to me, bro. I fried my brain with smoking, G. Come on, man. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, doing blessed, having a good day, having a good week. Guys, UFC 276. Come on, it was kinda illegal to see Robbie Lawler, Max Holloway and Cowboy all lose on the same card. Kinda illegal, right? But that's really what this sport is, man. You know, you see the legends, you see the veterans, they keep going past their prime. And we have to watch that. Man, what Alex Pereira done to Sean Strickland. My goodness, the lead hook. Oh my god, it's devastating. It's a nasty weapon. And it got him. It got him clean. But yeah, that should be a good main event, you know. Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira again. We're going to see that fight. This time inside the octagon. You know what I'm saying? This time a little bit different. Alright my homies, if you want all of my bets on this UFC card, be sure to check out my Patreon. That's where I post my bets. I've only got one bet at the moment. This is a difficult card. You know what I'm saying? I might add a couple more, but yeah, I've only got one at the moment. Alright, let's break down this main card. Let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup between Michael Johnson taking on Jamie Mullarkey. Now, Michael Johnson broke the losing streak. He done it against Alan Patrick. My guy. And I remember on that breakdown, you know, I said, if we spark the blunt for Michael Johnson, he's going to get it done. He did it. He did it. Let's go. Now, guys, is Michael Johnson going to continue to do that? He's going to continue to do that. Jamie Mullarkey's going to get boxed up by Michael Johnson in this fight. That's going to be my prediction on this one. I'm going to take Michael Johnson to go back to back with the wins. Looking at Jamie Mullarkey, you know, this guy's tough as nails. This guy can grapple. This guy can push you against the fence. He can take your shots, right? He's tough as nails. But unless Michael Johnson really wilts in this fight, I think the boxing of Michael Johnson might be the result. And that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to take MJ back to back. Let's go. Alright, we've got a matchup between Jared Vanderaa taking on Chase Sherman. Oh my goodness. Guys, is this not deja vu with Alan Bordeaux and Josh Parisian? This is like deja vu, man. This is one of the worst heavyweight matchups I've ever seen. This is bad. And I can even remember saying, you know, if Jared Vanderaa doesn't beat Alexei Oleinik, he's going to get cut. Why is he still here? Guys, I think Chase Sherman, Jared Vanderaa, Alan Bordeaux and Josh Parisian, I really think they're all half brothers. You know what I'm saying? They're in the same boat. Trash cans. Listen, if you're going to bet on this fight, you best be betting Chase Sherman. You've got to be betting plus 170 on Chase Sherman. You've got to do that. And the only reason you're going to do that is because this one's 50-50. They're both not good. So take the underdog. Don't bet Jared Vanderaa minus 170. Don't do that. And even if Jared Vanderaa wins this fight, you should not be happy with that ticket. Guys, recently I bet on a hot dog eating contest and I cashed that ticket. I'm not happy with that. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad ticket. You know what I'm saying? Guys, my prediction, I'm going to take Chase Sherman because he's an underdog and he can win this fight. He can do it. He can beat Jared Vanderaa. My goodness. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Said Nurmagomedov taking on Douglas Silva de Andrade. Now this matchup's a good matchup for both guys. You know, Said Nurmagomedov, he's got the grappling, he's got the speed, he's got the spinning attacks, right? He's got all of that. We know what Douglas Silva de Andrade has. You know, big punching power, big knockout power. You see that in his last two fights. I know he got the choke against Sergey Morozov, but, you know, really dusted him up on the feet outside of round one. So if Douglas Silva de Andrade can get into range to land those bombs, he might upset Said Nurmagomedov. But my prediction has to be the guy who's more technically in his prime, more physically in his prime, got the speed, got the grappling, and the flashy kicks. You know, you've got to watch out for that. I think Said Nurmagomedov should win this fight against an older Silva de Andrade. And I know some people might be like, well, he was old against Sergey Morozov. He still got the job done. Some people might say that. And that's why it's a good matchup, because Said Nurmagomedov has to manage range, has to use his speed in this matchup. And I think he does. I'm going to side with Said Nurmagomedov. Alright guys, moving into the co-main event, we've got Calvillo taking on Aiemann Petrosyan. This is a good co-main event. Now the reason why this is a good co-main event, both of these guys come from the Contender, right? They've done some nice work on the Contender. They've done some nice work already in the UFC, and now they're being matched up. You look at what Aiemann done to Gregory in his UFC debut. I cashed a plus 180 on Petrosyan in that fight. And man, it was a tough debut. Really tough. Gregory Rodriguez showed us, look, I'm going to compete on the feet and I'm going to grapple this guy. But the output of Aiemann, that seemed to impress the judges a little bit more in a very close debut, a very close fight. You look at what Calvillo done in his UFC debut. Let's be honest. This guy's on steroids. This guy's Paulo Costa's son, right? Let's be honest. Man, ain't no way you grappling a Dagestani like that without the juice, okay? I know you've been grappling with Damian Maia, but still, right? This guy's on steroids. And I know some people in the comments might be like, you know, you shouldn't say that. There's no proof. You're a YouTuber. You shouldn't say that. It's fake news. It's not. Come on. But speaking about the performance, you know, when he took this guy to the mat, he was so strong. Unbelievably strong. If Aiemann Petrosyan can keep it striking, look to use the Muay Thai then it's a good co-main event. It really comes down to Kyle Borralho. You know what I'm saying? If he takes it to the mat, it might be domination. I think he's gonna. I'm gonna side with Paulo Costa's son, Kyle Borralho. I think he just takes it to the mat, and it's a dusting. You know what I'm saying? That's got to be my pick. Alright guys, main event. We've got RDA taking on Rafael Fiziev. This is an awesome main event. And the reasons why it's going to be an awesome main event. RDA, we know what this guy can do. He can do it all, right? He's been around for a long time. He can do it all. On the flip side, you've got Rafael Fiziev, who's still climbing up the lightweight rankings. And he's been looking good. You know, you see what he done to Brad Riddell. Dusted. Rafael Fiziev is a really good Muay Thai striker, right? He seems to favour the kicks more than knees, elbows. And you see that in the performances, you know, the way he kicked Bobby Green, the way he kicked Brad Riddell. Rafael Fiziev is a really good Muay Thai striker. So is RDA, right? If this was a 15-minute matchup, all day I'm saying Rafael Fiziev wins this fight. So I'm kind of sure that Rafael Fiziev would win the first 10 minutes. But after 10 minutes, if RDA is still there, which he should be, and that's kind of where the matchup's going to turn, you know, kind of interesting. Because RDA might try to get the fight to the mat, might start to grow into this matchup. It's a good main event. For me though, guys, like I said, I'm quite confident that Fiziev can win the first 10 minutes. I have to make that pick. Right, I've got to make that pick. If you're more confident that RDA can do better in the later point of this fight, or if you're more confident that RDA can get a stoppage, then make that pick. But like I said, Rafael Fiziev's going to be up 2-0, which means his money line's going to be like -600, -700. So my pick has to be the fresher Muay Thai guy, and that's going to be Rafael Fiziev. Alright my homies, drop down your main event, your co-main event, your Money City plays, all of that good stuff. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.